Today, we have with us Dr. Ramesh Oruganti, Professor in School of Computing and Electrical Engineering at the Indian Institute of Technology, Mandi. Professor Oruganti has a vast experience in the field of research concerning renewable electrical energy systems and has also worked as an engineer in the industrial sector before starting off with a full-fledged teaching career. Welcome to the show, sir. So please tell us, what does your research prominently revolve around?
Thank you, Namrita. Yeah. First of all, let me thank all of you guys for arranging this. I, you have done it almost professionally. Congratulations on setting this up. Yeah, my research area, I started off in power electronics. Mostly in the area of power electronics. Power electronics deals with control of power in using electronics. It's kind of interface between power and the microelectronics world.
Okay.
So that is not a very very well-known area, because you don't explicitly will see a power electronic product like you will see a mobile phone or something. But having said that, its importance has gone up because of the renewable energy. So in the renewable energy part, I have worked on solar inverters.
Okay.
And then microgrids. I'm working here on microgrids. Yeah.
That's really nice, sir. So, sir, do you think your research work has come handy in your teaching profession?
See, this is a question that is often discussed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Many people will say yes, it is needed. A good researcher is a good teacher, but I have seen many good researchers, or some good researchers, who can improve with their teaching further. They're still to go somewhere. And I've seen many good teachers who are not actually, who don't do much research. So having said that, your research, doing research brings two things to the table while teaching. One is, when you are able to do research, you realize that the book knowledge and the other knowledge is a created knowledge and not something that is sacrosanct and it is given to you. So that you are able to bring to the class. That this knowledge is something that somebody has taken the trouble to create it, either invent it or discover it or something like that. So that is something that you can bring to the table. And you can also introduce some more recent research topics to the student, so that the student appreciates the recent topics.
Okay, sir. So, sir, you finally belong to the academia, but you started off with an industry job. Do you think it has helped in shaping your research and teaching career?
Yes, definitely. I have to say yes. Definitely yes. So because in the industry, you tend to look at very practically. What is not useful, you don't consider it. So sometimes in my research, there will be very good analysis I can do, very good way I can put it. And we have stopped working on that, even though that might have resulted in a publication and stuff like that, because it doesn't serve a technological or an engineering purpose. So that practical bent, in other words, you can use the theory, but you use the theory to the extent needed, provided it serves the purpose of the practice. So that is something that comes from the, comes because of the transition from industry to academia.
To academics, okay. What was your inspiration behind becoming a professor?
Yeah, well, see, the one thing is, see, some people are good at many things.
Yes.
Some people are not. I am one of those people who are not good at many things. So some people are very good at so many things. So I realized when I was uh, in the industry that two aspects I enjoy. One is the creativity part. So any small thing that you can create, I used to enjoy that. That is number one. The second thing that I used to really enjoy is, in case I get an opportunity to teach, a few times, I had to do some teaching or something. I really enjoyed it. So then I thought, why not change the
Become
career
a professor.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So, as an engineering student, did you take much interest in research?
Actually, no.
No.
You see, I didn't know really much about research. These days, you are all very knowledgeable because of the modern world, your own interest, and also because of all the internet and search engines and everything. So you are all very knowledgeable. So it was not like that. For us, it was in fact, I had very little idea about engineering itself. Forget about research. So very little idea about engineering itself. So slowly discovered what engineering was as I started my life as an R&D engineer, started doing something. What is engineering design? Slowly discovered, and also as I went into research, slowly discovered what research was and is. Yeah.
Okay, discovering along the
Discovering
journey.
along rather than say unlike you guys, you have probably a lot more idea of what research is, and now the institutions also have evolved. The time I got educated is quite different from now.
Okay, sir. So, there are so many fields to choose from while pursuing a research. So, how do you think a student must identify the major of their choice?
It's a good question. Uh, you see, ideally, it should be based on one's interest and passion. And whereas, in our country, in India, out of necessity, people are more focused on what is it, packages and the
Money.
job and what. So, so that's why people are, whether it is research or even in a career. So by the way you choose it, basically it comes from that angle. So I think we should start probably focusing on what interests us. So, so as a student of IIT Mandi, as you go through all the courses, etc., my suggestion will be to find out what you are interested in. What a student, not exactly you, but what a
Yes,
student is
sir.
interested in, and you know it can be out of the way. You may be some engineer, but you may be interested in environmental science or whatever, environmental economics or some other thing. You might be an outlier. So in which case that gives you a clue. Okay, I seem to be interested in it. Can I pursue it? So a bit of it's not too much of a risk, but a bit of risk taking in terms of what you pursue, what you uh, what you go
What do you
for
fancy
is,
doing?
is 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 probably a good thing.
Okay, sir. Sir, what are your views about the fact that IIT students prefer corporate jobs rather than working into core sectors or going into research?
Similar core sector, of course, there is a difficulty in getting the
Yes.
placement and the interview itself. And again, the same thing. It's a package and thing. So, but there are some slowly I see signs. Last year there was a student who she was very passionate about material science, and she has gone for a PhD in material science. So a bit of following on passion, whether it is, say, IIT Mandi education allows you to explore your own area. It also allows you to explore other areas. So a bit of exploring is a good thing. But having said that, as the country develops, you can see that more and more outliers will come up. You will find that. I mean, I'm already finding it, and you will find more and more students will take not not a traditional path. Yeah, that's all.
What do you think about the ongoing brain drain in the country?
Yeah, this is again a very good question and often asked. Uh, you see, the thing about brain drain is many of our faculty members itself, if you take it, many of them have got educated abroad. Many of them have gone there for training or postdoctoral training or any other training, and some of them keep going there. So India, especially at the higher technology level and the higher industry level, has to stay linked to the world. There cannot
Yes.
be an isolationist kind of thing. And what I find is Indian diaspora, the number of people all over the world, that's actually pretty good for India in a sense. There is plus and minus, but on the plus side, it is actually pretty good for India. See, many Indians, Indian Americans, Indian Britishers, Indian Australians, Indian Singaporeans want to come back to India at some point, do something here, or they end up starting something here. This kind of reverse brain drain is already happening, and this has happened in a major way in China and Taiwan. So I expect that to happen in India also. So it's not too much of a worry that all the Indian. It's not as if all the people with talent are going away. India is a big country. There are many, many, many talented people. Yeah.
And some of them are coming back as
Coming
well.
back as well. Yeah, very, very, very.
Yes, sir.
Very true.
So, sir, you completed your PhD from Virginia Tech, USA, and you have also worked as a professor at the National University of Singapore. So, what difference do you find between the teaching and the students of our country and abroad?
Okay. See, National University of Singapore is a very big public university. I believe the number of students there is somewhere around 35,000 or something. It's a huge university. The electrical engineering department itself had the same number of faculty members as IIT Mandi. So it is that big. It's a big affair. And they have more resources, and it's a very well established university, but very well known in the world, etc. So it was, in a sense, privileged to work there. Students here at IIT Mandi come through GEE. So in that sense, they're unique. They've been selected. In NUS, they just, after the 12th grade exam, based on the 12th grade marks, students are selected to various disciplines. Engineering is not the most popular discipline that the subject that people go after. So, but still, NUS, we do manage to get students who are very interested. And one thing that I enjoyed at IIT Mandi students, since you're asking about IIT Mandi students,
Yes, sir.
one thing I enjoyed about IIT Mandi students is the type of questions they ask. That I really enjoyed. That is, the students, what if questions. If I say this has not been solved, then immediately it starts bothering some students, and they start with giving suggestions. Sir, can we try this? Can we try that? Those are all signs of creativity that I really like, because that shows that even though that solution may or may not be good, that's not the issue. The issue is that the students are beginning to think along those direction of giving solutions, that you can come up with an idea and do something. So that is another very interesting thing I noticed in IIT Mandi, which is true to all Indian institutions, is the students are very respectful. Even more respectful. Even in NUS, it's respectful because it's an Asian country. So, but here it is even more respectful. So I'm still getting used to students standing up when I come into the class. All the students stand up, and then they don't sit down. Some of them will not sit down until I say, please sit down. So it's a very respectful, which is the culture here.
Sir, what kind of research and teaching environment do you envision in IIT Mandi in the next 10 years?
That's a very difficult question to answer, because you see, IIT Mandi has already made a fantastic start, very good start. You see, the research of IIT Mandi, if you look at it, like any institution, there are two ends here. One end is the high end, cutting edge end, if you will, meaning that is where we are competing with the world. So we have to do some nanotechnology or whatever the latest thing. If you are doing in computer science, you have to do the latest deep learning or an idea or something, because you want to be on par with the world. You want your research, but at the same time, you want your research to be useful to the society. So there should be a social component, a society benefiting component to the work that is done at IIT. It cannot be only one. If it is only the society benefiting, and it cannot be well known in the world, and students cannot learn the latest things, and so on and so forth. IIT Mandi has realized that very well and is focusing on these two very well. Even in the teaching, IIT Mandi has made a very good start, in the sense it's got a, it's a kind of a, it says it, and it is true also, saying that it's got a curriculum that allows flexibility to the students. Core and electives have been made as minimum as possible, so that the student can truly explore. You know about the practicums, and you guys are the ones who are going through it and undergoing it. I don't have to say it. So these are all very good thing. When you are a student, when you are undergoing it, you may or may not appreciate it fully, but I'm very sure after 10 years you will start talking about the practical design practicum thing that you did, and so on and so forth. 10 years from now, the challenges are in future, not just for IIT Mandi, for all institutions. The challenge is engineering and science, especially engineering and applied science, are growing exponentially. What we studied in the third year or fourth year of our 5-year BTech course, you guys are studying in the first year. Sometimes you guys have even been introduced to it, do it for your JEE preparation. So that is how kind of like data compression, knowledge compression is taking place. So how do you simplify the knowledge? At the same time, the student finds it appealing. Otherwise, the student more and more after 10 years, if all that you are learning, the student has to learn, and something more that has come up, that also the student has to learn, you have to sympathize with the student who is coming for you 10 years from now. So that is a real challenge in terms of teaching, that how do you bring the connectedness of the knowledge, how do you bring the essence of the knowledge to the student, and at the same time not overburden the student. On the research side also, the challenge will be, in my mind, whatever we are doing is to stay relevant. Because let's say you are in computer science. At some point the question will be asked, look, you are training this student, but then to in this topic, but some computer company is already doing far more than that. So how do you stay relevant? How do you do game-changing research here? All that will become a challenge, and IIT Mandi is well poised to take those challenges.
Okay, sir. So please tell us something about your time as the Dean Academics of the Institute.
Okay. Yeah, that was something very unique for me, at least. Yeah, and I'm really grateful to the institute and to director for trusting me. And as I was a dean academics, I used to think once in a while, at least, don't mess it up. It's a big responsibility. I enjoyed really the helping with the curriculum development, the academic policies. See, you have to be fair, but at the same time, you cannot be. You have to be fair. The policies have to make sense. It has to be consistent. And at the same time, it should not be too overburdening to the students or the faculty members, etc. So that was the very, 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 for me, it was a very good thing, that the opportunity to help in developing the policies, etc. One of the things I want to say about IIT Mandi, IIT Mandi, you guys are in the student side, so it's almost, normally in any institution, there is a faculty, there is a student group, there is an invisible wall between the two. Okay. In IIT Mandi, I believe but I am on the faculty side. But I believe it's a bit less. It's a that thing. There is a more interaction. IIT Mandi is one of those places. I see more interaction between students and faculty members. That bodes very well with for this institute. One of the things about IIT Mandi is that the young faculty members, many of the faculty members are actually very young. I mean, you may see them as very old and senior and all that, but if you take a typical institution, most of the faculty members are under 40. So many of the young faculty members and staff, they have worked very hard and they are working very hard even now. And even at a very young age, they are taking some very senior positions. So that is very unique to, now I'm not saying that's very unique, that is normally the case in young institutions, and in this institution that is being done very well.
Okay, sir. Sir, please share with us one of your fond memories from your student life.
So long ago. Yeah, see, in my time, my time means when I was, it's decades ago. It's probably before your parents were born. Yeah, so it was so long ago. Those days we didn't have much of these technological gadgets. As you may not know, of course, no internet, no mobile phone, no, not even a television. Believe it or not, India did not have television when we studied. So a lot of time goes in chit chatting, playing games or chit chatting. So there are probably, I don't know whether I think a lot more interactions probably took place. At least a lot of interactions took place, chit chatting and group discussions with people. And I learned a lot from that. In fact, I learned to read books from that. My mind, because some of the students were really very smart and this thing, so I understood a lot of things. One of the things that we used to enjoy is going to on Saturday evenings, we used to have very light dinner. That is not by choice. The hostels will only serve light dinner on some sandwiches or something like that. They will serve on Saturday nights because Saturday nights were the mess staff off day. So we'll eat that, pick up a pillow, group of us. We'll go to the open air theatre. I don't know whether in IIT Madras there's an open air theatre, which is something like the theatre, the theatre that is being built opposite the badminton has been built.
Yes, sir.
But only thing is this is almost fully circular and it can house 5,000 people, believe it or not. So it's a huge one. So we'll go there and watch movies. That is, they will erect a temporary screen because we can't download movies, we can't watch movies on the laptop or anything. So that is the only entertainment. We'll go there and watch movies, and we thought we were so superior. We will criticize the movie, critique the movie, boo with the movie, and that was bliss. Just lying down and enjoy it.
Okay, sir. Sir, it was a pleasure hosting you here. We, the students, are very much privileged to have you for our constant guidance. Hopefully, all the students of IIT Mandi will follow the footsteps of Sir and bring laurels to the nation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for having this interview. Thanks to all the students. You have really worked hard. I wish others can see this. They have put up a professional setup here. You see, one of the things that you get really pleasure as a teacher is when the students go on to do much more than what you have done. So I'm sure all of you will do much more than what any of the faculty members, any of your mentors here have done, and that is good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.